Today we're going to be going over how to create your first CORE HL7 C script. It's incredibly easy, but we're going to be using the CORE HL7 Viewer, but it doesn't matter. Any program that you have of ours that uses the CORE HL7 scripting subsystems, this process will work exactly the same. So for the viewer, you need to just access your script library. You get it from here and view or edit your script library. When you start out the first time, your script library is empty. All that you have to do is click here or go to the file, create a new script, and we'll be done. There's my new script created. Usually you'll want to come in and rename it and give it a more friendly name for you. So we'll just call it that. And now we can save it. Now at this point, we can go and run it, but then when you create an initial script, all that it does is trace some stuff out to the runtime window. It doesn't actually make any changes. So if I were to load up some messages, I'll get some examples in here, and go into here and say I want to run my script, it would run, and it did nothing. If I go back to main, it did nothing. I'm going to cancel and come back to here. So you can see all that it does is just echo stuff out to the trace window. So let's edit it. To do this, we can go in. We've got another video that you can see to how to use Visual Studio to edit your code, which we're going to do here. I'm just going to come in here and say copy the C# code to the clipboard. If I wanted to use a program like VS Code, here's a C# file in VS Code. I can bring it into VS Code and edit it. That's not what I like to do. I like to use Visual Studio. And I'll go over that once again. To use Visual Studio, the first thing you do is copy the usings. If you haven't already created your Visual Studio project, again, remember, watch the video on how to do this, but all I have to do now is I will come down and just copy this and paste it right here. It will give me an error. I just need to that out. And now I can actually edit my code. I'm going to go copy some code from another script in here very quickly, so bear with me. And I'm back. As you can see, I've added this CHS message object up here in the public area, and in my script, I'm making a call to globals.create initial message. That's because the hosting application is going to pass the message into me. I'm going to create it here. If an exception occurs, I can just break out. I'm going to trace that I'm changing the MSH segment. We'll save that for right now. I'm going to create a new message control ID. I'm going to change the message control ID from whatever it currently is to this value in X. Then I'm going to get the PID segment, and if it's not null, which of course it won't be, I'm going to get field 5, that's the patient's last name, or the patient's name. I'm going to store the last name in a variable called ln. I'm going to change the patient's last name from whatever it currently is to Smith. When I'm done, I'm going to call commit message. The commit message call tells the hosting application to do whatever it does with a message when you're done with it. In the CORE HL7 Viewer's case, it's going to update my message store with that value. I tell the hosting application that the script is completed, and I return. And that is it. Now, all I need to do is update the script over in my viewer. So I'm just going to copy all of this, come back to my CORE HL7 script library, and I'm going to edit this script. I check here to make it not read-only, and I just paste it all in. I go over all of this in the how to use Visual Studio video, I need to make it so that it will compile. So I need to delete these items. That should compile. Yes, it did. So I can now save it. Save the library. Now we can run this script and watch what happens. Total messages committed 10. Let's return to main. There's the brand new message control ID that I put in. And we changed the last name to Smith. And Smith. And Smith. And Smith. All the way through. That is how easy it is to get started. You can refer to the online help to get the script object reference, as well as to, if you'd like to download the CORE HL7 Script Engine, where you can have a platform to run these scripts as a Windows service constantly. And thanks, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue to make content.